Okay, well, apparently we're live. Hello. But
Hello.
I haven't seen it pop up on my YouTube yet, y'all. So if you see I'm wearing this big fluffy Gillette, it's because it's cold in my house and I'm too cheap to turn the heat on just yet. Not too cheap, y'all. The bills here are expensive. Well, everybody, I am so glad you've popped out. Hey, Gosha girl. Our girl Gosha's here. Oh, here we
Gosha.
are. So I see us that we're live. Welcome to Live Dolo Digs, and I am here with Bellezza.Intorno.Vintage Monica. Monica,
Perfect.
thank you, girl. Thank you, girl. Monica is based in Italy. And first of all, Monica, we have to always do the thing. We have to talk about the weather. What's the weather where you like?
And I love that you do that because it's my favorite subject. Seriously. Yes. Right now it's very cloudy. Today was cloudy, but very funny because in the morning this sound came like a siren. How do you call the sound, like ooh?
Yeah, sirens. Yeah.
Yeah, sound in the town, and I was like, what is going on? And then I went to the weather app on my phone and to see maybe weather something,
Yeah.
and the quality of the air was super poor, like
Oh,
I'm gonna die.
no.
And then it was
Stay
red and
inside.
orange, all very bad quality, and then I was like thinking maybe it's the for that, but it wasn't for that, the sirens.
Oh,
But the quality of the air today, it's very poor.
is
That's
that
the situation with the weather.
okay? So, hey, Anna, thanks for popping in. Is that because of pollution or pollen or what's it?
I don't want to tell you because tell you something because I it can be uh, here we have close very two or three big factories.
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
So I don't know if it's that humidity, which is over
Hi.
the top, and so I don't want to tell you a lie.
Hey, yeah. Hey, Heather, thanks for popping in. Um, is it hot or cold there? Is it just like cold? Cold day.
For me, it's with some
Chilly.
with like with a little bit of cold.
Yeah.
It's like freezing for me because I'm used to very warm weather, but it's
Yeah.
fine. It's a little bit cold, but not that cold.
Hey, Barbie. Well, girl, thanks for stopping in, girl.
Barbie, hello.
Here today it has been a sunny and lovely autumnal day with a breeze and a high of about 61 or no, maybe 59 with the breeze. Lovely day today. The leaves were blowing. I was out doing stuff. So, hey, Sheila. So, Monica, tell us a little bit about yourself now that we got everybody popping in.
Mhm.
Tell us where you're from, where you live in right now. Tell us all the things, girl.
Okay. I'm I'm from Mexico, from the north, from the Pacific part, the Pacific area, and from a beautiful small town. I live in Venice since 7 years ago, and yeah, very happy from a very beautiful city in Mexico to another wonderful and magical place. It's unbelievable. Here it's just crazy. It's just like if you open a book and then you're reading like a very old story, antique
Oh,
story. It's like that
so
every day, every day.
So now
It's
everybody's jealous because you live in Venice. I just want to say, hey, Kitty Sunshine. Hey, H. Welch. Carrie Ann,
Hi
thanks for coming.
everybody, welcome.
Um, I've been to Venice once and I absolutely loved it. I
Mhm.
absolutely wanted to stay. And I think
Mhm.
everybody here is going to be like, oh, you all want to live in Venice.
No.
Because a lot of times you would do your you do Instagram videos where you're like I'm on the water bus going to uh, around the island. I'm like, oh my God. What this is so amazing. Oh, and by the way, guys, let me just say, let's all be the first to congratulate Monica on her new YouTube channel. Yes, y'all, she's got a YouTube channel. So you can go watch her thrifting in Italy anytime you want. If you're not on Instagram, or if you are on Instagram and you still want to watch her on YouTube, the description is her link is in the description of this live. So y'all go subscribe. Brand new first video came out today, and that's what we're going to talk about for a minute. Hey, Bree. So Monica, where was the video at? Where'd you take it? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. So thank you, Dolores, for telling everybody that I have my new YouTube channel. I'm so excited. It was a year since I wanted to do it, but it's not that easy as Instagram. It's not.
Right.
I mean, you can do it, but something good, something nice takes time.
Yeah.
And I was preparing, and I decided to do it. And you gave me the idea since I told you that I was going to Parma, Italy, to this great fair. So Dolores was telling me that maybe that can be my first video, and I did it that way. So yes, I filmed during last weekend that I went to Parma, Italy. It's not far from Venice. It's more in the center of Italy, a little bit on the center. It's not that far. We're on the north. And I went there. I was I'm still amazed about all the beautiful, amazing items that I saw. Treasures, treasures
Mm.
everywhere. And it's a big fair. They do it twice per year. One in spring and this one on fall. It's huge. I had the opportunity to be, I don't know how do you call, how they on the big fairs like expos, they have
Yeah.
separate buildings. How do you call the buildings?
Just like an expo center, like pretty much like
Yeah,
that.
it's a
Yeah.
center, but they divide it in big
Right.
buildings. So
Mm-hmm.
it has like four different buildings,
Wow.
and I had the opportunity to go to two main ones.
The two main
And
buildings. Yeah.
yes, because on the other one they only have art, but I
Mm-hmm.
believe modern art, not antiques. And in the other one, you can, very interesting, you can go and they tell you what the thing cost and the value of the item, those those experts who value
Yeah.
your items, they have that. And then they in that same area they have people doing the how do you call when they something very old, they try to make it better.
Oh, repairs, like a repair,
Repair,
like yeah.
repairing the antiques. So you
Okay.
see
Yeah.
them doing the repair, the all the work they do to.
Wow. So it had every little bit of everything there.
So it's
Like
very very complete the experience. But
oh,
I didn't have I didn't remember.
restoration. That's the word, restoration. I'm like repair. It's restoration.
And thank you everybody, thank you. It's not my first language, as you can.
Girl, you're doing great because you obviously Spanish is your first language, and then
Yes,
you have to speak Italian and you speak English.
yes.
I mean, girl, you speak it better than most English people here. Okay, I'm just saying, you speak it
I
absolutely fine.
I'm trying.
Um.
So yes, I didn't went to that area, but I had a piece that I brought with me,
Oh.
and I
Okay.
wanted to take to them because I have no idea what it was.
Okay.
I buy it here in Venice in a charity shop because I don't know if it happens to you before, but sometimes you have a piece and it's very special.
Yeah.
And I know it was very old, and just I bought it. I didn't know what it was. So now that this time that I was going to the event and I knew these experts were there, I thought it was going to be a good idea to take this piece with me and know what it is. But I didn't have enough time.
Right.
Then I was carrying it with me. It's not that big. It's like a plate size, a small.
Okay.
You know.
So is it a plate or is it a
It's ceramic. It's a ceramic piece,
Okay, so is it a
and
vase
it's
or
like it has holes, two holes, and then like a thing in the middle. So it's a weird thing. And then well, the story is that I didn't have time, and I decide like I'm gonna cancel that idea. I'm not gonna go there because maybe it's a line to do.
Mhm.
You need to do an appointment probably. So I'm not gonna go, and I'm gonna continue exploring the fair and enjoying. That's it. Then I was looking at the some stand,
Mhm.
and then I was like, wait, this looks like my piece. Let me ask the vendor. And then I asked them what it was. What, excuse me, like pretending. I'm always pretending that I don't know anything to the vendors. Like, excuse me, this piece. What, can you tell me what it is? And they told me the name in English
Uh-huh.
that I don't remember. And also they told me the name in Italian, and also I don't remember. But what it is, the piece is missing. My piece is missing some parts, first of all. And so on, it's a plate, kind of like a plate with the
Uh-huh.
two holes, one hole, and in the middle is like a bowl
Right.
area. So on those holes, they put small containers, and that is missing from my piece. Those two
Oh,
containers that
okay.
goes inside,
Right.
and those are for the ink they use before to write. It was like a desk
Yeah, like
piece.
a
You have
like an inkwell.
yes, inkwell. That's yes, and then they have it on the desk with the pen and
Yeah.
all that
Mhm.
stuff, and then they do that. And so I found out
Well,
without,
see, you didn't have to stand in line for that.
and I know the time more or less and the price, which is nice. I like what they told me. It's very old, very old.
Yeah. All
Of
you need
course,
to
it's
do
not
is
the
find
same.
the inserts now. You need to find the inserts that go.
I'm not gonna find the inserts, but I have that piece that now um, I have a name, and I have the time, the period of time. I know
Right.
more or less when it was made or used, when they use those in inkwells, right?
Right.
Inkwell.
Inkwell, yeah. So
Yeah.
I had Bree put your channel in. Thank you so much, Bree, for putting in Monica's channel. We appreciate it. Um, now, Bree Gia's first language is Spanish, so if you feel the need to just slip, she can translate for it. I should know it, but I don't. That's a whole different story. We won't go into that why I don't know Spanish, but I'll tell you another time. Hey Val, thanks for coming in. Um, uh, also, hey Christine at less than $10. So yeah, so I just think it's interesting that you went and you filmed and the stuff there, girl, the light fixtures, the
Yes. Yes.
beautiful, they were like not lamps, they were light fixtures, and they were like pure glass. I mean, if you guys haven't gone to see her video, you're gonna die. Because the thing I picked up on right away, well, apart from all the beautiful glass and
Mm-hmm.
the light fixtures, I was like, I don't think my roof would hold that. I mean, my ceiling probably fall in because they were like substantial pieces.
Yes.
But what I liked, and it's in the first part of the video, when you go along in the first part of the video, they look like Christmas trees.
Oh
But what
yes.
they are they're like rhinestone, and they're made in Czechoslovakia,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like these, and y'all would die for them. they're like, and I have been looking at them to purchase, to buy one for myself so I can have it back here. They ain't cheap. I mean, they go for about 100. Well, here about 100 pounds and up for
Mm,
them, for these Czech trees, and they're shaped like a tree, and they're rhinestoned to. But are they older pieces? I feel like they are.
they look very nice to
They are.
be old, like very bright. The ones that I saw,
Yeah.
and the prices were not that expensive, let me tell you. In
Oh.
fact, we were looking at them and we were like, these can be a super great Christmas gift.
Mm.
Imagine, here you are
Hey,
for
Mary.
you, because they have many sizes,
Yes.
like very big, medium, and little ones. Like you can give a small one to to a person, like
Yeah.
as
These were
great gift.
about the ones I was looking at are about 6 to 8 inches tall. I mean, I know you work in centimeters. I'm sorry, but so but no, about 16 centimeters to about uh 18 centimeters,
Uh-huh.
20 centimeters. Um, and the ones I was looking online, and when I saw those, I actually just been looking at them the day before. When I saw your video and saw them, I was like, oh, I need that. Y'all, they're
Mhm.
so great. They're
They're
so great. Oh my
beautiful.
God.
They're beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And then that same vendor has a table with brooches, accessories.
See,
So
I'll be
yeah,
done. I'd be done. Yeah.
I, that stand was amazing. Plus, he had a small dog, like a Yorkie.
Oh,
That reminds me to my sister's
oh,
little dog, and I was like, hello, and he's like, ah, and his name was Enzo, and then we were like kind of chatting
yeah,
about it. So everybody was on Parma, and this big fair, it's the biggest fair
yeah.
in Europe, by the way.
It's
The
the
most
wow, the
important,
biggest.
the most, sorry.
It's the biggest one in
Mm-hmm,
Europe. That's
mm-hmm,
pretty
yes,
big.
yes, yes, yes. And yeah, it's huge. And so yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say, but yeah, it oh yes, everybody with dogs, everybody with
Oh,
dogs.
okay.
You can
That's
see
great.
all the people walking inside. I mean, so that is fun. You can take your dog. There was, of course, many cafe
Yeah.
inside, and as I told you, this big area where you can appraise your items. You
Uh-huh.
can see when they are, what was the word?
Restoration. Restoration.
Restore.
Repair.
Hmm. Repair. And so yes, so much fun. I'm looking forward to go next year.
I
It's
well,
a
yeah.
great experience to
Because
go.
me and Gosha, I don't know if she's still interested. She's probably like, no, girl. We're kind of tossing around the idea of going in spring to meet up, to go see Monica and go to Parma. Because
Yes.
I mean, I just want to go to Venice. And
Mhm.
so when you say charity shops, do you mean like, I mean, I don't know if you've seen our charity shops. They're walking, it's like a store. Are yours, you said a lot of yours are like in a church, or are they church based?
What do you mean?
Like you have a lot of church sales there?
No, like
Oh,
they usually it's like this. It's the church, like
uh-huh.
the building, and
Yeah.
then next to it, it's a little like
Charity shop.
room, a room. It's not
Okay.
even a building, a room, and you go inside, and it's
Oh,
like
okay.
most of the time a bookshelf or a table. It's so small, you won't believe. If you see the places I go, you're like, what, where do you find I find the things in those places, like very
Yeah.
tiny places, which I'm not mad about it, because
Right.
um it's easier.
Yeah. Sometimes you could be with Gosha says she's still in. Okay, Gosha, we're gonna have to work on that.
Yay, Osha.
Gosha's in. We're gonna go
Okay.
see Monica. Um, Sometimes when you go to a place like that, it's quite easy to scan. You're like, yep, yep, yeah, yeah. You know what.
Mhm.
Sometimes you could be overwhelmed by an antique shop, which I love going into, or a big, you know, like a big flea market or car boot. You could, that could be overwhelming. You could kind of walk into these places, which is kind of an advantage. You can
Mhm.
walk in and be like, yes, yes, nope, nope, no, and you know, you kind of already know what you're going to get
Mhm.
by just by
Mhm.
walking in there and looking. So to me, that's that's kind of you know, that's kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's like you're in, you're out. I mean, how good is that?
And you know how much they charge for the items, more or
Yeah,
less, so you have an idea what to pay. Plus, here, as I told you before, it's not like I can buy a lot.
right. Because you're
So
yeah,
anyways, I need to buy little. I need to buy
yeah,
small amount of items because it's not possible for me to carry a big or
right.
many items with
Yeah,
me. Mm,
because you're
on
not
my
driving. You're going on public transport, right? And you're going
on a
like
boat.
on a
On a
boat,
boat.
right? On a water
So
bus.
it's not, no, it's not even a
So you
big.
go on the water buses. I mean, because you're not using a water taxi; they're expensive.
Yes. So
You're using
it's a public
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
water bus. Hmm.
Yeah, the water bus, yeah, which
Hmm.
I like. I think they're fun. I mean, but I don't live there, so it's not like my everyday. I mean, you know, it's not my everyday transportation. I'm in a car. Um, so you went to Parma, the biggest market in Europe, and that's amazing. Now we really want to pick your brain, Monica, about Murano and Empoli. Now you had kind of when we were on our European edition of Dolo Digs, you kind of touched on
Hmm.
a little bit about Murano, and you were kind
Hmm.
of like, "Yes, it's great," but and then we know we had too many people. I mean, a lot of people on, so we were kind of like, "But I want to know your thoughts." I mean, we all love Murano. Let's not get it twisted. But what do you tell us some things we may not realize about like when people find a piece of Murano, or if it's like what's not signed or doesn't have a sticker, or what's the deal with it? Now I know, like in Venice, apparently I'd seen this YouTube channel, or this it was a news story, and it was on a YouTube channel where there's a lot of counterfeit in these shops in Venice.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, 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 totally. So yes, um, let me. I first of all, I don't know anything. It's not like I'm the know at all person. But when I'm talking to you now, it's what I see. I'm
Mm-hmm.
very detailed. Like I'm very focused in detail. So I'm very that kind of person, and I'm very passionate about Murano and about vintage. So my knowledge is based on my passion and my, of course, what I read and what I live day by day on my uh, on my purchases and when I explore. So um, Murano, what I see a lot on the lives on internet, people who sells Murano in US mainly
Mm-hmm.
is that they sometimes they say no, this is not perfect, or this has bubbles, or this is maybe it's not Murano because it's not very high quality. And then I'm like disagree because Murano, remember, it's made by people, by hand. It's a human being making art. So it can be not it is not necessarily perfect, the piece. It can have bubbles. It's not it's not all Murano perfect. Of course, there is companies, very well-known designers, Murano designers, that you don't see bubbles. You see the base, the smooth
Mm-hmm.
bases, and the piece is perfect, of course, because they they have very high standards. It's a very high quality, uh, uh, very high quality pieces. Of course, you find those those companies. But also you'll find companies or maybe beginners that
Apprentices.
are that they do Murano. Or what about all Murano? All Murano is that's one of the that's that's one of the main characteristics when
Mhm.
they're not that perfect and the shape is not that, like maybe bubbles in the,
Right.
there is a high probability that they are old pieces, like when
Oh,
they're very old pieces.
interesting.
Yes. Hmm. And
Also, I was going to
the
ask you.
color, when the color is not that bright,
Uh-huh.
that's
That
mainly, yeah, very
so
old.
that would be an older piece then.
Yes. So when I see like, oh, maybe this is not Murano because it's a bubble. Maybe this is not Murano because I don't see the quality. It's not very high quality. I'm like behind the screen. I'm watching and I'm like saying, no, 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 no. If it's in US, which means somebody bought it here and then took it to there, and it's been there because you find it in a estate sale or on a Goodwill or something. It's probably not new, first of all, and if they bought it here and brought it there, it's probably Murano. I
Yeah.
feel it's Murano, and the fake Murano is more
Mhm.
new. it's
Okay.
it, I think they start the faking recently, like,
Right.
I mean 20 years ago,
Right. Yeah.
when
Yeah.
when
Mhm.
the masses and the travel was more common and easier to come and go, and so more people come to Venice, so they wanted to sell more. So
Right.
they needed
Hmm.
more stuff to sell.
Yeah.
So bring me from China, bring me from
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
from there, and then they have fake Murano, but
Right.
they start doing that, I feel, recently.
Yeah. Like 20 years and now. Yeah.
That's
Because
my
what
opinion.
I'm getting you're saying is that like just like Tonala pieces aren't signed if they're made by an apprentice.
Hmm.
And so I think what you're saying is the same thing about Murano is yes, some of the great craftsmen artisans do make them and they are perfect because they've been doing it for years. But when
Hmm.
you get an apprentice, it's not going to be as, and clearly they probably sell those too, the
Hmm.
apprentice pieces, because they have to, they need the practice. So
Hmm.
they have to keep making it. And I wonder if some of the apprentice pieces are also sold. And that's why you're saying like, well, yes, it could be Murano, even if it's not perfect, because a beginner has
Hmm.
is a
Hmm.
beginning craftsman because that was another thing is that I don't know if this is true. I mean, I don't know if you can answer this, but where there are not as many people going into that profession anymore
Hmm.
because
Also,
yeah,
also,
it's a lot of hard work.
yes, it's less and less and less because it's an art, right?
Mm,
It's an art, first of all. So now people don't live in there in the island. Remember Murano, it's Murano because it's made in the island of Murano.
yeah.
That's the reason why it's Murano. It's called Murano because it's there in Murano, there on the little shops,
Hmm.
fabrics. How do you call those shops where
Like
they
little
do?
little touristy shops, a little like yeah, just like shops where they make it there. Where
Hmm.
they, you can like, do they have it where you can watch them make? Because I've been to Murano and
Yes,
I didn't see anybody making it because I think it was an off day. We went to several shops. You know what I mean?
yes, 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 and they do it there in the furnaces. So, so less and less, you find, yes, people that are not, they don't want to live in that island. As
Right.
in Venice, it's harder to live in those places,
Mm.
and so they move. You don't find young people, very,
Right. Yeah.
very little young people
I
in
was going to
those.
say that, the world is such a big place and with travel and,
Mhm.
even like, people see TikToks and people, and people see Instagram and they see these, these young Italian, young Italian people are like, well, I want to move to this place or that place. They didn't want to stay on. Well, I want to stay on a little bitty old Murano, you know, because it is small, and I don't even know if there's shops there. I mean, I don't even know because
It's
I mean, there was shops there, but they were, you know, glass shops. I didn't know if there
Mhm,
was a store there or if there was a grocery store there, or you
mhm,
know. So if you do live on Murano, you probably have to go into Venice on a boat
mhm,
to go get any like necessities.
mhm, mhm.
You know, you're not going.
They have everything. They have everything. But as you know, like people want more and more and more things, like the cinema, bigger shop, you know,
Right. They want the more everything
more
now.
restaurants. Yeah.
Yeah,
Stuff.
and you're right, in restaurant, and so and like, and again, it is an art. You have to, you know, you have to be quite young, I think, to go into that business to get to that level of craftsmanship.
Mhm, mhm,
And
mhm,
you know, 17, 18, 19-year-old kids, boys or, you know, men and women, aren't necessarily going, you know what I want to do when I grow up? I
mhm.
want to go make glass. Yeah.
In
Which is
Murano. Mhm,
in
yeah.
Murano.
In
Yeah.
the island of Murano, where is
Yeah.
nothing to do.
Right. Yeah. There's no nightclubs, you know, happening in the island of Murano. I got about to get on the bus and go.
Not even in Venice. Like,
Oh,
if
right.
you come to Venice, have in mind that you're gonna go to bed at 10 p.m. maximum, because the city is
Right.
gone. Like,
Everybody's going to bed. Yeah.
yes, it's because there are nothing to do on the night at night. It's
Right.
just
Yeah. It's not like it's not a
nothing open.
happening. Yeah.
There is not a nightlife at all.
And that's a real shame. And I like how you pointed out, like, not all Murano. I mean, it's perfect. I mean, it is to if it's made by the, you know, grand artisans, but obviously you're going to have beginners making stuff. And I do the beginners or the apprentices, do they get to sell stuff, or do you know that? Because I'd assume they would.
What I think is, like, those masters, the big masters, those
Yeah.
designer pieces, they
Mhm.
that companies, the big companies now with a very well known name, the pieces they do are very expensive, right? So they have their shops, they have all this tradition, um, and the pieces are super expensive, and they are, you look at them and they're just perfection, period. Then you have also these little shops around the island of Murano, also in Venice, and you see these people who is working for not this big company. They are not designers, they are just beginners, or people who maybe just like to do
To the
glass
class. Yeah.
without being from many years ago, from my father and grandfather, the
Right.
traditional, because those big companies mostly are from
Generational.
500 years ago. Like,
Yeah.
here everything is unbelievable old, like all the big companies, they start from long ago.
Right.
So those little shops, they're doing great. I mean,
Yeah.
they're doing good job. They're doing great pieces, but they're small and they're not
Yeah.
perfect, and that's it.
And they're not the
But
big designers that
it's
have the.
Murano. But it's
Yeah. But
Murano.
it's right.
And
Yeah.
they cost
Exactly.
less, and they cost less, which is it's more affordable for us.
Right. Yeah. For the
But
regular everyday people, we're not buying, you
yes,
know,
yes, yes. Because
two.
when you find those pieces from designers here in Venice, they don't cost the money that cost in US. In US, I see the prices, they cost less over there. It's weird. I'm like,
Right.
why is this happening?
Yeah.
It
Why
doesn't
can't
make,
I buy it cheap?
why here is more expensive than in the world, in United States. I see the prices and I'm like, what is wrong? Here the people value the Murano
Yeah.
glass more than
Very coveted.
anybody
Yeah.
else. Maybe because they know the
Yeah.
all the story behind. They know somebody who does Murano, because maybe
Exactly.
the neighbor, they know uh, his dad, you know.
Of
Here
course.
they value Murano, the whole country. the whole country value Murano a lot, a lot.
Okay.
So when I find Murano, I find the pieces as same as somebody who find a piece in United States,
Right.
or more expensive
Right.
on the
Because
thrifting, not in the shops, of course.
right. Obviously, girl. No. I mean, we'd be paying there because I know there, it was super expensive when I was on.
Mhm.
And with good reason. I mean, these things were like, chef's kiss, beautiful. So I'm
Mhm.
like, well, yeah, I see why they cost that much because even the small things were like 300 euros.
Mhm.
I was
Mhm.
like, what? But hey, Suzical, thanks for popping in, and Steph, hey girl. Um, yeah, and
Yeah.
it's just I think that like the misconception of it, just because it's not perfect, it's not necessarily not Murano. It could still be Murano. It could
Mhm.
be made because, like you said, it's made on the island, and someone could be, like you said, these big, huge designers on the island who make it like within an inch of its life, and they make it beautiful. Then you
Mhm.
get the apprentices or beginners or people maybe who have been doing it as long. Their pieces aren't quite as you know polished and
Mhm.
perfect, but they're still made on the island of Murano, so that technically
Mhm.
they're still Murano.
Like
So
I have pieces that are not perfect at all, but they are Murano. I
yeah,
like because I know they are, because where who gave it to me.
right.
It's
Hmm.
I, I know it's Murano. So
Yeah,
and I look at them and they are not perfect at all,
right,
but they are Murano. So it's not like that. It's not like that. And as I told you, if it's not that perfect, it can be also very old. That's
right.
another
See,
indication of time, because they before they didn't do things so perfect.
right,
I've seen.
because the market was basically for Italy and maybe just Europe, but now it's worldwide. You know what I mean? Now it's
Mhm.
everywhere. And
Mhm.
I think the great thing about what you're saying is that you see it. So, and I'm not saying you're an expert at seeing it, but you kind of, I imagine, fake, real, because you see it both probably a lot.
Mhm. Well, what I here it's here I have very easy for me to realize,
Right.
because
Yeah.
what it is easy is that you go to the store and you see the prices.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
That's all
Uh,
you need to know.
I mean, not even I don't even need to go inside the store.
Right.
Those stores where they sell Murano. From the outside, I know who is who. Mhm.
Right.
Then you ask the prices, and then you realize this is not. It's not
Yeah.
possible that this cost 10 euros,
Right.
because
No way. No
it's not
way.
possible. So it's something weird about these 10 euros. Where did it came from? Tell me.
Right. And this is what H. Wells said: vintage paperweights, untouchable. They're like very expensive. Like, yeah, I saw this beautiful paperweight. It wasn't much bigger than a Caithness, like this size. 300 euros. I was like, yeah, I don't think, we're good. I think I'll have to give that a miss today, sir. But thank you. And then the guy was really funny though in the shop. He was actually, what are you, a comedian here? He was really funny. He goes, "Oh, you're American. You'll spend the money." Yeah, because I'm American. And then he heard Dave talk. He goes, "Oh, but you're Scottish and
Uh,
you won't." I said, "This man knows us." Because he figured since I was American, I would have no problem spending it. As soon as he heard Dave talk, he said, "Oh, you're Scottish. You're
no,
not spending that kind of
he's
money."
from Scotland.
Scotland. Dave is Scottish. Yep.
Scottish. Uh-huh.
So as soon as they heard his accent, they were like, "Yeah, yeah, you ain't paying that money."
Uh-huh. Mm-mm.
Not that they're tight, but they're frugal.
Okay.
Um, so
Which
let's
is
talk a little bit about Empoli, because we
uh-huh.
also touched on. We kind of, we threw that word out there, and it was you were kind of like, well, hang on a minute. So, um, they changed the mark a few times to yeah. So what H. Welch is saying is that some of the, obviously the houses that or the
Mhm.
houses who make the different, on Island Murano have had to change their mark because,
Mhm.
and I get it. I mean, you have to be like, this is not a fake. This is real. You can't. So, and they need to be aware of that, and they are aware that people are counterfeiting it and making it
Yes,
out of
they know.
like China.
They know, and then yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting. But right, let's talk about Empoli
Polly.
because I think a lot of people say I might have a vase and I might ask you the question about it. It does say Italy on it. Don't
Mm-hmm.
say Empoli on it, but it says Italy. But
Mm-hmm.
tell us a little bit about Empoli. Let's just start off. Why is it called Empoli?
Also because it's made on Empoli, like
And, yeah,
like
the
Murano.
place.
Uh-huh. It's a place. Empoli, it's a city. It's a small city on the area of Tuscany.
Okay.
So and you know what? Now that I went to Parma and I told a vendor, a lady, I told her, um, because let me tell you something. I I was sitting before I was about to go. They were closing, and I was sitting, putting all together, and getting ready to go. And then I look far away, like I looked on a table, and I was like, "Wait, I have that piece. I
Oh,
have that piece that I bought." Sometimes I don't know. It happens to you. I bought it because I needed. I was in a place. It was like a donation. It was
mhm.
not a charity shop. It is a
Right.
place where they have boys. Well, it was a place,
Yeah.
and I found this, and I was not sure because the piece was okay. I like the color, but okay, let's buy it. And
Yeah. Yeah. I've been
that's
there.
the reason I bought it. It wasn't my totally my like
What do you
piece.
vibe?
Yes, it's not like I need to buy it. I bought it as like let's buy it, and that's it. I have it in here. When I was at Parma in the fair, I saw it and I recognized it, and then I went to ask this lady, can you tell me about it again? Like if I know
Yeah.
nothing about this
Yeah.
piece, it's beautiful. Can you tell me about it? And she's like, well, no. This piece is Murano piece, and it's one of a kind, unique. You don't find it. And I'm like, I have it
You're like,
because
hang on.
it's not like similar. It's
Oh,
exactly the same. I
right.
mean, not molded. It's not a mold piece.
Right.
It's
It's
Murano.
him.
It's handmade, but it's
Yeah.
exactly the same. So they made probably
A
a few.
few. Yeah.
And so she was very excited about the piece, and I was silent. And then at the end, what I wanted to know was, of course, like always, the amount, the price, and the time. And that's always very
Right.
interesting.
Mhm.
And she told me it was 600 euros, something as big as your head, like this big. It's I wanted to show
I
you,
love
but
those.
it's not in not close, but it's something like a candle holder, trinket dish candle holder. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's on my account in Instagram. It's something yellow glass.
Yeah.
So 600 euros for me, a special price.
Oh,
And then
just for
I was like,
you. That was a wonderful price. Yes. You were like, thank
thank
you.
you,
Let
thank
me
you,
get
thank
my
you. You're
euros
very.
out right here.
So now I asked her, since she was very very kind and very
Giving you a
nice.
deal. Yeah.
Exactly. I continue talking to her and ask her about Empoli, Empoli, but it's Empoli in Italian. So what about it? Because I haven't seen any piece on the fair. I didn't see anything. I mean, of course, I know probably there
It
were
might have been somewhere, but
pieces,
you didn't personally see it.
but I mean, I saw a lot. I saw a lot of items, and not nothing, not a
Huh.
piece of Empoli. And I asked her, what's going on? Why? And she was like, yes, they have some, but it's I don't know. She didn't give me
Oh,
an answer.
okay.
So talking about Empoli, yes, here it's not that easy to find it, at least in Venice. I don't know if I go to Tuscany,
Right.
where they were made,
Right. Yeah.
you find it more easily. But here in this area, I found as I told you, 3 pieces
Hmm.
on a shop, like on a real person. I
So
saw
were they 3 pieces all together?
no,
Oh,
two
okay. I was gonna say because
together,
that'd have been someone's
two
collection.
together. My
Yeah.
first purchase was two together, two decanters together, and they didn't know what it was, and
Oh,
then that's
because
what we
it's not
wanted.
nowhere. It's not anywhere
That
near Tuscany.
they didn't know what it was, because it's not a charity shop. This is another kind of shop,
Like, yeah,
like thrift. It's a weird,
thrift, like a thrift store. Yeah. Uh,
but it's not even. It's
oh,
it's it's unbelievable. It's very weird, but it's a place where I find stuff.
okay.
And,
I
and
like
then
it.
I went there, and I saw on the cabinet. How do you call them?
Cabinet,
Glass.
like a
The
case,
glass.
like a
The
glass case.
case.
Yeah.
They have only 2 cases, and everything else is on tables, and it's a mess. And they have 2 cases, like where they put the very
The
nice.
fancy stuff.
Yes. And I was there. It was my second time in there, and so it was a kind of new place to me. And I went inside, and I was like, wait, did I did I see did I see did I was like, no, 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 two, how much? And they told me the price, and I was like, even, can I, that's too much, can you, I pretend that I didn't know what it was, and then, like, are you serious? That's too much. And they were like, okay, give me less. And then I
She's like, me, I don't have that kind of money, girl.
like,
They're like, okay, here.
are you stealing from me? That's what you're doing? Like, I'm pretending like, that's too much. What are you talking about? And then, because yeah,
I'm gonna try that here.
these people sell furniture that people don't want. Like,
Clearance. So
it's
it's
a
like a house
very,
clearances.
yes, it's a
Yeah.
place. It's not a shop. It's not a
No.
nice shop. I don't do that
It's where they clear out people's houses and sell it all. So it's like
exactly,
house
exactly.
clearances. Yeah.
Mhm,
Uh-huh.
mhm.
So
So
and I
they
just want
don't
to say,
know.
hey
They don't have.
Bella, hey Tammy. So the thing about Empoli was like we were talking about the colors,
Mhm.
like and
They start doing they start doing green glass.
okay.
So you see that's the main color. Then
Mhm.
they start doing more colors. But yeah, I feel yes, the main color is, of course, the green, but I don't see they go outside the same colors.
Right.
Like, you always see the green, the blue, purple, very few
Oh,
they do.
okay.
But yeah, the red, the amber. I saw the red, like amberina kind of,
Yeah.
once. Remember the live we did,
Yes.
with Ocean Dev? Somebody was asking if I saw an orange in Polly. Somebody asked about the orange color, and I was
That's
like,
right.
no, I never saw an orange. Next day I went thrifting, and I
You
saw
saw-
it.
She's like,
Seriously,
damn.
next day I saw an orange color
What's
one.
the thing? Like you said, it's in such a different place to you that you, like you said, you don't find a lot of it where you are. But if you
Mhm,
probably went down to Tuscany and
mhm.
like I'm gonna thrift in Tuscany for a day, which is probably not close. It's probably how many miles is that? I mean, how many kilometers is that? That's pretty far.
It's from here 3 hours, more or
Okay,
less,
yeah,
by train, and the
by train,
fast.
right? So you're not gonna go. Oh, I'm gonna go. I mean, and the thing about going on a train is you have to bring all that crap back on the
Mhm.
train.
Exactly,
Yeah,
because it's fragile,
yeah.
fragile. So
Uh,
so yeah, they have. I think they don't have that huge range of
right.
uh color range of
That's
colors. So
interesting.
they
Because
have like
do I have my bottle here? I'm gonna go get my bottle.
the
Hold please.
orange that I saw was very red, orange red. You know,
Where is my?
kind of amberina.
I have a
They
bottle
have
somewhere.
the yellow. I call the yellow. I call the amber yellow because it's to my eyes. This is yellow color. Like amber will
Oh,
have
here
a
it is.
little bit of brown, right? A little bit of
Okay.
honey gold tone, and the poly I have one. It's very yellow, so I'm calling yellow to the poly. That's like a olive green,
It just
olive.
says made in Italy on the bottom. You probably can't
Yes.
see it. So would
Yes.
that be in a poly bottle?
Yes, it is. It is. They I think, and it looks to you it's not new, right? Also,
No, no.
it's not fair.
I bought this in Texas
Mhm,
20 plus years ago at a little roadside flea market. Literally,
mhm.
it was a roadside flea market. And he was like, "Oh, I'll take $1 for it, for it." You know what I mean? And I was like, "Yeah, okay," because I just like the style. It reminded me of I Dream of Genie, but yeah, made in Italy.
It is, of course, it is. And remember, those bottles were containers of some liquid before. They
Oh, okay.
they,
It did
they
have its
didn't
lid,
sell it
clearly.
for like beauty and decoration. They have liquids inside.
So
Something, some kind of liquid.
was it liquor?
Sometimes liquor. I hear sometimes some soaps, like bubbles, kind
Oh,
of like
like
you put.
yeah, like fancy soap, like fancy bath.
I hear that. So they, if I'm not wrong, they were not made to just display on the
Right.
table.
They
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 were
were
contain
yeah.
real containers to
They
sell.
had to use. I mean, obviously, I don't have the stopper. It didn't come with the stopper,
Mhm,
but
mhm,
because they're really hard to find. I mean, you
mhm.
if you find a bottle with a stopper, you're having a good day. Go play the lottery.
Yes. And here, so to finish with the discussion of Murano and Empoli in Italy, don't think here is a more cheap, like cheaper than United States or the American continent.
or
It's
England
not.
even because I mean we can they're still priced pretty high here, but probably
Yes,
not.
I mean your place, your area,
Yeah.
it's more or less. I see your prices, and it's
Hmm.
more or less the same as me.
Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. So yeah,
Yeah,
but they're good,
they're
and
not.
I like the fact that they were like for stuff. I mean, obviously they came with stoppers, so they were clearly to stop something from coming out, and it wasn't
Mhm,
just decorative. But now,
mhm,
pretty much like when you see the old tins that people have, the old like typewriter
mhm.
tins, and they had a purpose, and I think that's great that everything that we're purchasing now had a purpose.
Mhm.
It all, people were using this like in their daily lives. Like, this is my bubble bath. This is my sherry, or whatever.
This- Yes,
Yeah. And
yes.
I
So,
think that's amazing.
and if you find conclusion, if you find Empoli or Empoli, grab it. It's hard. It's so hard
Rabbit.
to get it. So I'm from I mean I live in Italy, and I don't see it that much. So
Wow.
if you see Empoli, grab it.
Yeah.
Also Murano, it's harder and harder to find the real one, the the old Murano, the real Murano, because
Hmm.
as we spoke, people don't make as much as before.
And I
There are
wonder
less
if,
and less artists, Murano
right.
artists, so the production is not the same. We're talking about real. We're not
Right.
talking about the massive amount
A fake.
made
Yeah.
on other countries that
Yeah.
we know. Mhm. The fake.
Well, here's the thing is also they probably export a lot as well. So
Mhm.
the artisans in Murano probably, and just to be honest, probably make more money exporting that stuff out than people coming in and spending 300 euros on a piece in Venice and Murano. Coming, unless they're tourists, a lot of just regular people who living in Venice aren't going to pop over and go, yeah, I'll drop 300 euros on this. Do you know what I mean?
Well, about that, remember before, maybe you don't know, before, long time ago, travel was more expensive, long ago.
Yes. Uh huh.
And Venice was more expensive. So people, tourists that come to Venice before was people with money.
Correct. 100%. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that was the people who we have here in they have, I wasn't here, but they have here before coming, people with a lot of money. If you don't have that much money, you couldn't travel
Right.
to Venice. And so they sell Murano expensive pieces because those people can't were able to afford those pieces. Plus then the export part that you were talking about, yes, it's right. They made more because also they export the big pieces, the
Mm,
expensive, those
yes.
chandeliers you saw,
Yes.
those
Mm-hmm.
fixtures you saw, that needs to be export, like
Yeah.
send it via on the mail, on the packages.
Right.
So it's not like I'm buying that, put it on my
Right.
luggage
Yeah, we can put it in the
and
hallway. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
those are the biggest pieces. The more expensive pieces are mainly those.
Right.
Yeah. So
So Tammy wanted to know how to tell the difference between what a counterfeit. Well, counterfeit's not going to be as nice. Uh, but what Monica was saying was that earlier was that some of the older pieces aren't as the older Murano pieces aren't as polished as what you see now today because they're older and they weren't quite. I mean, not that they weren't as good. It's just that they didn't. They were making them for a market within themselves. They weren't like it wasn't necessarily for export or tourists. And if they were for tourists, like I said, tourists had to be rich to come, so they could make it not half-assed, but make it okay. This is a good piece. I can sell this. Or
yeah.
now because it's worldwide, it's world renowned. They have to make it like within an inch of its life. And then what also Monica was saying, Tammy, was that some people will some of the apprentices aren't going to be as good as the top artisans. So their pieces may not be as tidy and neat and, perfect or without bubbles like a master would be. So, and yeah.
Also, pointing that um, maybe that company that made
Uh,
that piece is not as big
yeah.
company, that well-known company. It's a small company that they have a small store in the island, and so the standard is not as high as a
Correct. Yeah.
very big company.
Also, the price will tell you. It's like if you're in Venice and you go into one of these shops, which I've, these little gift shops that they have all over the place in Venice, and you see something for 10 euros, yeah, that's probably not going to be real Murano. It's really not. It's going to be Chinese made, mass produced type of
Mm-hmm.
situation. Really sharp edges, really like almost like a pressed glass or not as high quality. And it's not going to be cheap. Your real Murano is going to cost you. Hey, Helendra. That's my auntie, H. Ruiz. Hey, girl. Hey, girl. Um,
So it's hard. What I'm saying is that it's not easy to recognize. It's not easy, but if you're in Venice, you see the prices. That's
yeah.
it. It's easy because
Mhm.
you see the prices. That's it. If you're in another country, it's not that easy, but mm, you can use all the
Right.
points that you mentioned. Yeah, you can see the quality, as we were talking, is not, it's not what it's gonna like, because you can have bubbles, you can have maybe a bottom that is not that soft, but it's made in Murano. It's a very old piece,
Yeah.
so
And
it's not that easy to recognize it, but it's beautiful.
practice makes perfect, and you live there, so you you
Yeah.
have, the good fortune to be able to be like, yeah, I know because I live here and I know what I see. And you can feel it, and you pick it up, and and you're like, yeah. So that's kind of where Monica has the advantage of all of us because she sees it. I mean,
Yes.
she's around it, and she's around the fake, and she's around the
Mhm.
good and the genuine.
And
So
people who talk about it.
yeah, see, and you used to hear all that too. And
Yes.
girl, I am so glad we're at the top of the hour, y'all. I know people got lives to live. I appreciate y'all coming in here today. Do not forget to follow Monica's new YouTube channel. It is
Thank
in
you
the
for it.
description of this live, y'all. Y'all go follow her, and she goes to Parma to this big market in her first video, and you will just die when you see all this stuff. Honestly.
And let me tell you something. Tomorrow, Sunday,
Uh huh.
remember the last video I did here in Venice, a big market, antique
Yes.
market.
Yeah.
Tomorrow I'm going. So go to Instagram tomorrow to my account, and I'm gonna do a live.
And her Instagram is also linked here, so you can go watch her live while she's at the market, which was so fun. It was, I mean, you guys are gonna die when you see her the
Thank you.
stuff. Also, just real quick, Monica, myself, Deb from Tipper's Vintage, and the fabulous Miss Gosha from the Vintage Equation have an event coming up on November 5th. Now, I won't give the details away, but it'll be a four vintage seller event on my YouTube channel November 5th. Remember the 5th of November, y'all. So watch out for promos on here on Instagram, on my community tab. I'll be posting about that also on Instagram, which is my Instagram is in the description of this live. So you can be watching out for those promos coming up, and we'll keep you guessing, y'all, but it's going to be a really fun time. And
Yeah.
let me just thank you so much, Monica, for coming,
Thank
making time.
you. Thank you for your time
Oh
and
no, girl, you come back anytime. We've got so much. I've got so much more to ask you, and there's more stuff we need to talk about. But I know everybody's got to get on with their day, and there's probably some live sales on here on YouTube. So if there are, go check them out. And
thank
thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Monica, so much for coming on. And we will see you next time. Thanks,
you
everyone.
next time.
Bye.
Ciao.